the governor's office has a new Eastern North Carolina director, and he's an old friend. And people in Greenville will recognize this guy. He doesn't live in Greenville, but they'll know the name. And if you're watching on TV or watch the interview as we play it back on the internet this morning, you'll recognize Steve Keene. And Steve Keene was a business person here in Greenville for many, many years, and now has just taken the job replacing Ed Goodwin. Ed Goodwin, of course, was the original director of the Eastern Office for the governor. And our friend Ed has now been promoted up to handle the Ferry Division. He is now head of the Ferry Division for North Carolina. And Steve Keene is the new director of Governor McCrory's Eastern North Carolina office. Good morning, Steve.
Henry, good morning.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. Busy.
People remember you from Adams Car Wash.
Yep.
But you sold it years ago, right?
Well, I did in 07, but I remember, Henry, back in 83 when you and I got together for the first time. I just built the store.
Gosh.
And that's been a while ago.
You opened that store in 83?
I certainly did.
Yeah. So I've known you since 83.
Yeah.
And now people may not realize you actually don't live in Greenville. You live in Goldsboro and have been involved in Republican politics in Goldsboro for many years.
Well, since 08, when I sold the stores in 07, wife and I decided to travel a little bit and then get into politics in 08. Was elected to the Board of Commissioners in 08 and reelected in 12. And this past Friday, I resigned as commissioner and took a job.
You were actually chairman of the commissioners, were you not?
I was last year, yes.
Yeah.
First
chairman of the Wayne County Commissioners?
Since Reconstruction.
First Republican?
Yes.
Since Reconstruction?
Yes.
We're everywhere. We're taking over.
And
or maybe we should look at it this way. It's our moment of opportunity
and
after 100 years of waiting.
And the majority also. The majority had conservatives had never been in control of that power.
Interesting.
It was quite a change in
I'm not sure I thought I'd ever see that in my lifetime. An Eastern North Carolina county being with more Republicans on a county commissioners than Democrats,
especially in Wayne County,
except maybe Carteret County.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But the governor asked me to go see him last Tuesday at 1:30, and asked me to join his team and look after Eastern North Carolina, east of 95, 34 counties, and I've been on the road with him since Sunday. And
so you were down here for the tornadoes. Talk about that a little bit over the weekend. I know you guys were in Beaufort County, Chowan County, Pasquotank County. You were traveling all over with Governor McCrory this weekend.
They put it together Saturday. Got a call that don't be surprised if the governor wants to hit the ground in the morning, Sunday morning, and he did. Touchdown over in Chocowinity at 12 o'clock. And then went on from there to Chowan, Edenton, Pasquotank, Perquimans. And then what's interesting, Henry, about that is when he landed there in Chocowinity and or came in his motorcade. It was interesting how when he stepped out of the car, I was there about 11 to just sort of get a lay on the land and see what was going on. And when he got out of his vehicle, the media wanted to talk to him right away. And he came up to me and said, "What we got?" And I said, "Well, we've got some victims over there going through the rubbles." And they were about 50 yards away. Then he turned right around and said, "Guys, give me a moment with those people." And went walking through the place and just asked everybody to step back. And he wanted to go see them privately. Mm-hmm. And spent a good 20, 25 minutes with two different families that had lost their homes and a business.
Yeah.
But it was interesting, compassion, seeing that from the get-go.
I saw an interview with one of the victims on WITN on Saturday night, and she talked about how the governor had hugged her and consoled her and what it meant to her. You know, I mean, here's a woman who just lost her home, and now the governor has come to say, you know, we're here, we're, you know, supporting you, we're going to take care of you, and that kind of thing. And, you know, you hear so much about Pat McCrory. And people try to define him in many ways, particularly the liberal media tries to define him. But I tell you, you and I are very fortunate. We've gotten to know him personally, And when you get to know Pat, what you find out about him, he is a real guy, which is what that's what drew me to want to support him from the beginning. He's just a guy, and you have a conversation. My son Hank's in here with us this morning. Hank said, when he sees Hank, he's joking with Hank and talking to him about, things and, kind of cracking jokes like everybody would. Maybe in the long run, people say, well, that's not very gubernatorial about him, but that's that draws most of us to him, that he's real compassionate and that he really, really likes people. And so I hear what you're saying. I bet you I heard that he was really good this weekend in dealing with folks.
Well, he was, and he continues to be, and he understands the journey before him. He's been there, 14, 15 months, and just look what he's inherited, Henry. And if you really paid attention to all of the naysayers, then you easily get distracted and you don't stay focused on the mission.
Right.
And his vision is to take what he's inherited and fix it. And he's not going to get distracted, but at the same time, he's not going to quit being a human being either. And he's a regular guy, and he doesn't mind the touching, the handshaking, and the hugging of necks. And hey, in Eastern North Carolina, we like that.
Yes, exactly right. Steve Keene, who is the new director of Governor McCrory's Eastern office. Steve, what's your job? What do you do, and how do people, if they've got something they need, how do they interact with you?
Well, my job is to do exactly what the governor tells me to do. At the end of the day, he's still the boss. He wants to connect. He wants to engage, and he wants to do that with elected officials, whether they be county commissioners, municipalities, mayors, sheriff, economic development directors. He wants to connect in a way that he understands what they want. He can't be everywhere at one place, so he's got 4 district directors, one in the Piedmont, one in the west, one in the east, which is myself, and one in the Mecklenburg Union County area. So there's the 4 of us that are his eyes and ears, and every time he steps east of 95, 34 counties that he lets me know, and his staff lets me know, and we're on the ground for him, and we lay out the groundwork for him when he gets here. He knows who to talk to. He knows what the issues are when he gets here. He wants to be in the know, and that's our job, is to stay on the ground and be the troops and beat the bushes for him.
The guy that preceded you in that is an old friend of ours from Chowan County. Of course, we're talking about Ed Goodwin. We mentioned that Ed's moved on now to the Ferry Division. Ed did a great job. Ran for Secretary of State and ran across the state. And all of a sudden, we all saw a part of Ed we didn't know existed, because the guy's got such a wonderful personality, as you do. And I know that he enjoyed meeting people and that kind of thing. But you'll be following his footsteps and getting around and getting to know everybody. And so congratulations to you.
Thank you. It was interesting that as a commissioner in 08 through this past Friday, is that the regional thinking of the commissioners as we move forward in the area, whether it be Pitt County, Wilson, Greene, Lenoir, Craven, Carteret, Wayne, it's a regional thinking process now. It's more or less erasing the lines and not working through a silo, and being part of, being inclusive instead of excluding people. There's no haves and have-nots. In the governor's eyes, we move into this area, and we want everyone to understand what our vision is, and we want to include everyone. Yeah. We know that there are limited funds from the federal side, whether it be transportation, whether it be DHHS, Medicare, Medicaid. We understand the commerce, the lack of jobs. Of course, you don't see much today in the state paper about the unemployment rate being reduced the way that it has come down in the past 3 or 4 months. But we're excited about moving forward, particularly in Eastern North Carolina, and I just hope that I can do my job to help those in the region, this side of 95, embrace the governor and make him part of everything that is going on here, and everything that the people want to be a part of with the governor, make that happen also. Like you, Henry, a big supporter of the governor, and there are others here in the community of Greenville. We want you to be a big part of what he does when he comes here.
Well, it's great to see you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Great
I
choice to
appreciate
be
that.
the Eastern Director. I didn't even know that you were going to consider taking a role like that in government, but I'm glad that you are, and I'm happy to see you again.
Thanks, Henry. I really appreciate you having me this morning.
I love having a guy with your business acumen and, not only political mindset, but your business acumen also, and a guy who's been successful in business out there working for the governor. I think that's really important.
Well, it is important in the service oriented. He is so customer service ready. And I think that was one of the gifts that I brought to the table. And I not only customer service, but being solution oriented.
Yeah.
Is that, hey, there are problems, but let's find a solution to those problems. And he's focused on finding those solutions, and he needs people like yourself and those movers and shakers in these cities and in these rural areas in particular to find solutions for the infrastructure that's needed, whether it be gas, water, sewer, transportation. But we're excited to move forward. We got another, 6 years? I asked him if I could just get a commitment for 6 years. He said, I like the way you think. So we're moving ahead.
Good to see you, my friend.
Thank you so much,
Steve
Henry.
King, the new director of Governor McCrory's Eastern North Carolina office.